and it's so nice to be here. And I have to say something that I watched the Grammy Awards last week, but there's more spirit and excitement in these four walls than the whole Grammy. I'm with Gilda Rogers, and I started this Citizens for a Diverse and Open Society just about a year ago. And the pastor was kind enough to give us a little space next door. And we're here to invite everybody to come and share your feelings and express whatever you feel about race and racism and hatred, and I can understand it very well. I go back to when I was 8 years old. I never told, I think, Pastor Porter this story. And my first friend was a black kid. At that time, he was colored. Now he's black, and now he's African American. He's everything. But Jimmy Scrally and I were allowed at 8 years old to go to the beach. And the beach was only about 5 blocks away. We came from Long Branch. And his grandfolks raised him, and my parents raised me. And we went out to go to the beach. And those 5 blocks felt like a mile and a half. It was ridiculous when you're a little kid. And when we got to the boardwalk, and we stepped on the boardwalk, and we're looking at the people in the water, this big man, he was maybe my size at that time, but we were kids. And he says, I can go down, but you got to go to the colored beach. So we didn't come to the beach not to be together. So we went back home, and we played around the yard on the other side of the tracks. And I told my mother, I said, you know, we went to the beach, and they wouldn't let Jimmy and me go to the same beach. So all she said was, that's how things are. And that was like my first brush with racism. And I've had others, and incidentally, Mr. Horner Williams here remembers me in business with him at the same time in the 60s and 70s in Red Bank. And I also had a store in Asbury Park. It was called the Pedestal. I don't know if anybody remembers. I would meet people 30 years later and say, shit, those boots, I still got my favorite. Or those purple suede high heels. We were ahead of our times. Anyway, the important thing is that Gil and I are here to just express our wishes that you join us in unity, and we hope that we can build some kind of a relationship between our communities. And what's important is if we don't start here, we'll never start anywhere else. And you can do so much for yourselves, and we can do so much from ourselves, but together we can create a world together. And I would hope that everybody has the same sensitivity and outlook and vision, and maybe Gilda could say something else besides me rambling on to nothingness.
I was honored when Sid asked me to join him to be co-chair of Citizens for a Diverse and Open Society. Because as Reverend Porter teaches us, love rules over hate. And we started a Martin Luther King's weekend where we got to fellowship with the temple in in Tenton Falls, Reformed Temple. And we had such a wonderful experience, and we talked about it, and we wanted to come back together and do it again. So this is an opportunity for us to come together in a venue that's right here, right next door. Reverend Porter is gracious enough to allow us to meet there once a month. You didn't tell them, Sid, when we meet. we meet every third Thursday at the annex of each month. So we are inviting all of you to come out at 7 p.m. At 7 p.m. we meet. So we're inviting you to come out and join in with us so that we can make this a diverse experience, so that we get a better understanding of each other, so that we can work together to form better race relations and not go around wondering or thinking we know something, or our perceptions about one another that we really don't know. And I'm telling you, we don't hold anything back there. You can't have thin skin. Come and bring whatever issues that are troubling you about race, bring them. So I thank you again.
Just this last Thursday, we had a very interesting meeting. We were assigned to look up an unknown black American who is like an unsung hero. And you'd be surprised how many things that the black community, African Americans, contributed, men and women. I picked this Amelia Boynton, and she started the civil rights movement in Selma. And she called Dr. King up and she said, I want you to come here and start a march. And she was the one who started that. And there were some other people, surgeons and people who, Edison made the incandescent light bulb, but it burned out very fast. And then there was an African-American scientist who made a different filament, and one that lasts much longer. And the railroad crossings, the lights, are from African Americans. And Christian Bernard from Africa, the first man who made the heart transplant, and he had this gentleman, what's his name, Maddie? My wife looked up. Yeah. I'm deaf in one ear. Anyway, it's just so interesting. And besides that, I just want to thank part of our group. Some of them were here this morning, and the group here, plus the one who doesn't have enough of Jesus. Lori is part of it. So thank you very much again, and we're only a few steps away. And the pastor said, Sid, here we go again. Here we go. If you can all come to our meeting, he said, we can have the sanctuary for our meetings.